Good evening. Good evening, my fellow well-wishers for the future of this country. At the outset, it does give me immense pleasure to be here. I, Nagaraj Abhishek, I am for the proposition that the Lokpal Bill in its present form will be a comprehensive solution to India's corruption woes. Why? Okay, before going into why, I would like to say that I'm not a psychic. I can only go as far as to say why it could work, not why it should work. Like before a ship sets sail, you can only check for the holes. You cannot say for sure that it cannot sink. So much in the same way, I'm going to take you across and check for holes. There cannot be fantastic reasons as to why this should work. The reasons why this should work are within the Lokpal Bill itself. Number one, Sweden has had the same bill in almost the same form since the early 19th century. And today where Sweden stands is, it's the foremost country by WHO in medicine, healthcare. Its democratic values have not in the least been compromised, and it's one of the most scientifically developed countries in the world. Okay, now coming to our country. In the Jan Lokpal Bill in its present form, why it should work? Number one, why any form of government employed agency or any organization that has been instituted to be against corruption, why hasn't it worked all these days? It's because the amount of powers that it provides to the common man is extremely limited, or little I would say. What can a common man possibly do is a question we all encounter. And if at all he does something, what are the perils he will have to face, and what are the compromises he will have to make, and how much of his life would he actually have to spend on this? So to this, the Lokpal provides a comprehensive answer. There is very direct citizen interaction, and by a very recent update, a citizen can update the Lokpal through telephone or the internet, and therefore eliminate the need to, there's no need for much of effort from the citizen's side. And there can also be other ways in which the powers of this bill can be invoked. Second of all, how fast will the action be taken? The action taken will be very speedy, because there's a dedicated committee just for this. Within 2 months they'll be looked into. And as my esteemed speaker Tushar pointed out, how can you provide so much authority to the Lokpal? What if the Lokpal in itself becomes a dictator and starts being influenced? How can you say the Lokpal cannot be influenced? The Lokpal is not a dictator. The people in the Lokpal community are not immune to its provisions. If a Lokpal member is corrupt, the same laws of Lokpal that apply to the rest of the country will apply to him. If a Lokpal member himself is found corrupt, any of you common men can point that out to a higher authority, and within 2 months that person will be taken care of, and it will be suspended in the least for at least 1 year. And second of all, what if that person begets a corrupt person? At this level where a whole country is at stake, I believe that every person is responsible only for his own actions. If family members come into play, then I don't think anybody is safe. I might have some uncle hiding somewhere who is a murderer. I cannot in the least take responsibility for that. And as another esteemed person on the opposite side, Farhan, pointed out, Anna Hazare, I don't even know about this person. I don't know much. What I do know is through his philosophy, to which he contributed a little, the Jan Lokpal Bill. Here I would like to say something. A philosophy can't be judged by its exponents. Okay, I may have 3 wives. I may be a drunkard. But tomorrow, if I expound a philosophy, it cannot ipso facto be said as null and void just because I am a morally bankrupt man. A philosophy has to be judged on its own merit. At this point, I would like to say, citizens of India, let it just not be hope that drives us to take up the stand which I am taking here. The stand that I have taken here is an intellectual one, and I urge you all to take up the same stand by the might of your intelligence. I invoke your intelligence here. May India prosper. Thank you.